You are a 1963 graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, which I think was the first class that started and ended in Colorado Springs.
In the new place, fifth class.
Fifth class, okay. I apologize for that. 6,800 hours you accumulated, including more than 800 hours of combat flying. What attracted you to the Air Force? Why did you join the Air Force in the first place?
Well, this is a long story, and it's not quite as glamorous. I actually got in trouble in high school. I ended up in a situation where I had to report to a law officer, the local lawyer, who was the effect of a parole officer, if you will, or a probation officer in my little town. And so after about 6 or 8 months of this, the guy said, you know, you're not such a bad kid. You got pretty good grades, you're a jock, you're pretty popular. This was in 1958. He said, they've got this new school in Colorado, it's called the Air Force Academy. Our local congressman has not appointed anybody to any service academy since 1938, and he owes us a favor. And he said, you know, if we could get you an appointment to that place, would you go? And that was the moral equivalent of how do we get you out of town. And so I looked into it, and gee whiz, I discovered that, one, you got a free education. Two, if you went there, got a commission, at 20 years, you could retire on half pay, which looked pretty darn good to me. And so I applied, and my class was the first class that was big enough so that Congressman actually got alternates as well as principal appointees, and I was selected as an alternate. And I've told this story in other forums, but I got notified so late in the year that my family said, geez, there's no way to get you there. And I had a grandfather that I lived with, he's a retired railroader. Retired railroaders had the same kind of benefits as airline folks now. So I went to the Air Force Academy on a railroad pass with my grandfather in the summer of 1959.
And how'd you like the academy?
Well, the academy, I found it, I enjoyed the discipline of the place. Academically, I ended up, kind of in the middle of the pack. I think I graduated 141st out of my class of about 700 people. 700 who started. I think we really ended up with about 499. But it was, for me, it was a natural thing to go into. It prepared me in many ways for things that I ran into in the Air Force. I'm very thankful for the experience. I try to not suffer from overexposure at the academy. I live in Colorado, but I live on the other side of the mountains. And the academy's changed. The kind of leadership that we need in the Air Force is kind of constant, but the people that we bring in and the way we shape and mold them, that's changed as it's got to.